Well, great Tuesday, everybody. What's up in the Gathering of the Griots world? I am Asada. I'm your host for Gathering of the Griots, and we got such a good show today. If it's about Black authors, this is where you need to be. That's just the bottom line. And so before we get started, I want to pay homage to the one and only, the female solution, because without the female solution, what would we be? We wouldn't be here. So let's just give it up and find out what the female solution is about.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Period. With a T, period. This is the female solution. And again, this is Tuesday, so you're tuned in to Gathering of the Griots. I am the founder of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. So Gathering of the Griots features the authors that are going to rock in the August 9th event. Okay, so whenever we got a big event coming up, it's the authors that we show on Gathering of the Griots that are going to be live at the event. So before we get into our fly author, today is what? Hashtag Title Tuesday. That's right. So every Tuesday we feature titles of books that represent the book fair. And who do we got here? Let me move my title. We got Don't Be Afraid, Tell by Chalita Faye. Very important. Next we have Came Back Haunted by Fanny Price. Hashtag Title Tuesday. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Then we have Confusion by Honey Thomas. Piece of Cake by my girl, Hope Elliott. Actually, Hope Tiffany is what we call it on social media. So hashtag Title Tuesday. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Then we have Loving You Still by Obsession Williams. Then we have, that's my daughter when she was a little girl. Urban Girls Travel. Got the children representing. Hashtag Title Tuesday. Then we have I Am. This is by one of our sponsors, and that is Robert Horton. So happy hashtag Title Tuesday. I Am. Colorful Careers in Healthcare by Sandra Washington. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Then we got Love and Protection by Shelley Asul. That's that fiction love coming on through. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Then all the way from Japan, we got 21st Century Japan Decoded by Taquan Amaru. That's right. Represent Japan all the way in Chicago. And then Toni Lindsay, one of our favorite fiction writers, The Killing Breeze. And lastly, another one by Toni Lindsay, One Dead Preacher. Got to give it up. Got to give it up because he rocks the total fiction world. And so without further ado, you guys, we have some greatness. This is an author who has chosen to take the mystery out of our history. Now, get it right. Let's bring to the stage Sister Elogeia Hadley. Hey, baby. How are you?
All right, and you. And I love that. I love that.
Yes, honey. Take the mystery out of our history. Girl, I was like, what does she embody? What are we doing? So I want to say welcome. Thank you for coming on today to Gathering of the Griots. And are we going to just jump right on in? Because I have a litany of questions for you, big time, And so first and foremost, I was telling her, y'all, for real, when I saw Elogeia on social media, and I saw the topics of her books, I was saying to myself, how is this Nigerian woman writing these books about Black history? And I just thought that was really peculiar because you don't really see that. But then I said, let me not assume that she's from the continent. And lo and behold, where are you from, girl?
Chi-town. Born and raised.
Born and raised. So yeah, that was so funny how your perception can shift like that. But I really was feeling that. So I guess the first thing I want to say is, what was the inspiration for you doing the books that you do? Because your books are about who is she? Who are we? And what was your inspiration for that?
For the history books, my inspiration was um, life growing up in the public school system, not knowing who we are, you know. And the first inspiration was my mom. Um, Growing up in the 70s, as you can tell, my name, she wasn't playing around. She was like, look, I'm going to have me a baby and we going to have some real names around here. So she always told me to go look for yourself. Her and my dad always said, look for yourself. Don't believe everything people tell you. Look for yourself.
Mm.
And I started teaching that to my daughter. We had a culture fair at my daughter's school. She'll be 20, but she was like 12. And I remember being in high school in Chicago, and I went to Carl Schurz on the north side, and we're like 12% African American Black people. And we were all standing around during the culture fair doing nothing, kind of twiddling our thumbs. And I felt kind of bad. And I know when my daughter came for a culture fair, I don't think she felt bad, but you do feel kind of left out. Like, what can I do here at this culture fair? So with her culture fair, I joined it. The only thing was left was America. So I told the teacher, I'll take America then. And then I flipped it. I made it America, the Black experience. That's what I did. So I had two tables. One side was red, white, and blue. The other was red, black, and green.
Mhm. Boop, boop, boop.
hmm
They wasn't ready for that.
It wasn't, but she told me at the end my table was the best. All
Wow.
the kids loved my table because I had a lot of arts and crafts for them. I had a slideshow. I went and found some inventors and did a slideshow on my computer. I took my whole computer aside of my whole computer.
Wow. What?
So I said, "Oh, so the kids liked it. Okay." And I thought, I'm going to put this in a book.
What year was that? Wait a minute. What year was that?
I want to say this was 2010.
Got it. So you
It
were
had to be
teaching.
about
So you were teaching.
2010. No, you can volunteer. You can
Gotcha.
volunteer for these culture fairs that they have at the kids
Okay.
schools.
Okay.
But we never, in the city, we didn't, in Chicago, we really didn't have anything to show at the
You're
culture
right.
fair. We were set up, we didn't have a table to set up. And like I said, I went to school up north, and the Polish people had their stuff, the Puerto Ricans
Mm.
had their stuff.
Look at that. Look at that.
Everybody had their stuff, and we were just kind of sitting around like do 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 do.
Wow.
So that did it. When she told me that, the kids loved it. She said the kids absolutely loved you, and it was a lot of people there. It was people from Hawaii. It was people
Wow.
from India. They was like, "Oh no, they like yours the best." I was like, "Okay." I
Yes.
was like, "Boo."
And it's so important. Let me tell you something. Our people, they thirst for identity.
hmm
Thirst. And so when you do something like when Wakanda came out, Black Panther came out, we was going to the movie theater in African clothes, drums, all kind of stuff. And whenever somebody takes the courage to represent us,
hmm
it makes a big difference. I did something at a library on the north side, and I was talking about the African retentions of dance in our current culture. And boy, when I was showing Cote d'Ivoire and Jukin from the south side, and I was showing all the similarities, the kids got such a kick out of seeing the validation
Yeah.
of their cultures, and on the north side, you had a lot of brothers and sisters from Africa. And so they were like, that's my people. That's and so I'm so happy that you did that, because obviously there's a reason for it, right? There's a
Mhm.
reason. So which came first? Who is she or who is we?
Who Are We came first. That was the
Okay.
very first book. That was
Okay.
the one I took. I took the slideshow that I was doing for my daughter's school, and I just started adding on. And the more I started to dig, the more stuff started just popping up, just out of nowhere. Like you know how internet is. You put one thing in, and the stuff just started kind of coming out of nowhere, and that's what happened. And I was, this whole research took me about, I want to say about eight and a half years. and you're writing, and then you don't know when to stop. I somehow have to give myself a deadline because I was finding so much stuff. I was like, I'm gonna have to give myself a deadline. I just can't do
Okay.
this forever.
Okay.
So that one came first, and that one is with the inventors. With the inventors of mathematics. In fact, they believe it was an African woman who was the first to put some notches of the labembo bone. Um, so the first mathematician was an African woman.
Say that.
hmm So I started finding so much stuff, and I had to put a deadline. I was like, okay, that's enough. That's enough.
Okay. So tell me what makes the book different from just like a book of biographies. This is Denmark Vesey, this is Martin Luther King. This is what makes it a little different, because I had a chance to look through one of the videos you did of your book, and I was like, so the
hmm
format of your book, how did you bring the information to the book?
So, like I said, I found so much stuff. I was like, how am I gonna put this put this in order? So my book is a collage of other books. So if you want to look up Black Cowboys, it's in my book. If you want to look up inventors, it's in my book. Even Capoeira, and because most books is just inventors, just separate. So I took all of those books and put them together. So you won't have to look for no other book. You just need my book. If you want to teach it, if you're homeschool, you can go by chapter. So that's why I formatted it like that. So, because I had homeschool my son, and I was wishing too that I had a book that I didn't have to go in the library. Everything is individualized.
Hmm.
Everything is separate. I was like, I wish I had just everything in one book, as
Yes.
much as I can get in one book.
Right.
And that's why I formatted it like it was, and put it like it was. And like I said, it was a roller coaster ride. It was a good roller coaster ride.
A good old roller
Yeah, it
coaster.
was.
That's right. Well,
Mhm,
what I love about that, and I love how you categorize it like that, Black
mhm,
Cowboys, because for whatever reason, there is always like just inventors. Like what?
mhm,
Like there's so many segments of life that we exemplify, right? And when we're going to find it, like you said, it's so individualized that
mhm,
you got to go get the Martin Luther King book. You got to go get the Frederick Douglass book.
mhm,
And so it's like, and that I think can be a bit belaboring for us as a
mhm,
people, because it's inundating. But the fact that you did it that way, I even saw something in your, I think, Who Is She? Something like She Rose of something, 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 something. Talk a little bit about, well, why did you come up with the Who Is She versus the Who Are We?
Okay. So I have found so much stuff for the first book, Who Are We? I separated Who Is She because I wanted to pay homage to the Black African woman. I wanted her to have her own book. That's why I even call the book a her. Okay. She is my dedication to Black women throughout the diaspora. Um, so the first book could have been one huge book. I'm talking maybe 5,000 pages if I had to put it all in one book. Basically, a history Bible is what it would have been. So I separated it. I said, I'm going to dedicate this to Black women. I'm going to give them their own book. In that book, we got our sheroes, we got warrior queens, we have some sister to sister conversation in that book. I pay homage to the women that are missing, and how um, at some point we need to start to take off the cape. Just like we're talking about now. They talk about the 92%. It's time for us to sit down. I'd already put that in the book. I'd already put that in the book. So all of that is in the book. It's an extension of Who Are We. So I just kind of separated it and to dedicate it to Black women.
Perfect, because what? Like you said, the first mathematician, Mm.
Black
A
woman.
black woman, and I mean, we're not even going to get with the first human being on the whole planet is a black woman,
Absolutely.
like,
Mhm.
so but the fact that you said that, you said it could have been like a 5,000 page book. Did you just say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Harry Potter
Mhm.
style, each book
Right.
five. I mean, to the point where I think that you could have volumes of the books, right?
Mhm.
Volume one, volume two. I'm pretty sure you have enough data to do such a thing. And I guess I want to know. Well, first of all, how long have you been writing? Like, I think I heard you say you did the project in 2010 in the
Mhm.
school. But yeah, when did you start writing make the decision to do the book?
I started writing when I was about, well, I started reading when I was about 4.
Mm-hmm.
I had an
Mm-hmm.
uncle to work at one of the places that printed the books, a
Okay.
printer,
Oh, okay.
and he would bring me those little pop-up books. You
Mm-hmm.
open them up in little pop-up books,
Okay. Yeah.
and reading those books and the what the books with the jokes in it,
Like
that
Mad Libs.
yeah, that you have to follow the line and things like that.
Okay.
That's where it started, like at 4,
Okay.
and then I started kind of scribbling and writing, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
writing. And by the time I got to kindergarten or first grade, I was already writing.
I love it.
I was already writing. I mean,
Okay.
just writing my name over and over again, repeating what I saw in books and putting my name in that space.
Okay.
Jane
Okay.
jumped over the moon. I was like, yep, Elogeia jumped over the moon.
Woo, woo, woo. Elijah jumped over the moon. That's
And
right.
tracing, teaching myself basically how to write. I had some help with some adults, but
Yeah.
I was tracing stuff. And I always liked to write. I always loved to write.
Mm.
In school, that would be my issue, daydreaming and doodling and writing.
See? Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Now, when it came to the writing, the actual collecting of the data that you put in the presentation,
Mhm.
did your books also come out in 2010, or how long thereafter?
The first one came out in during COVID. I want to say
Mhm.
2020.
Gotcha.
Um, and then my Who is She came out in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within I know within 2 years I had wrote all 3 books. I had all 3 of the books. But
Okay.
the the collaboration of the books and putting the books together and formatting, all of this stuff that you have to try to think of. Like I said, I had to give myself a deadline.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was going to be a history Bible. It was going to be a history Bible. It was not gonna be-
A
and
history Bible.
yeah, yeah, because I kept finding pictures. If you notice, my book has pictures. It
Right.
has very old pictures of the cowboys. It has um the Shiro pictures. I mean the warrior queen pictures, because I didn't even know we had this many warrior queens at all.
Mm,
You
mm.
know, from Queen Nanny to Queen Yaya Santawa of the Ashanti Nation.
Queen and Zinga, baby.
Zinga, yeah, you know what I
That's
mean?
mine. That's
Like,
mine right there. Queen and Zinga.
mhm, yep, yep. All of them. And I think that's why the pages was so many pages, because I was told that um all of the pictures that I have of the older, the warrior queens, um, is rare. Like people are
Oh,
saying that's rare. I didn't know that they had even the Amazon warriors are in my book. Even before the movie, I had that in the book already.
wow. See
Mhm.
that? Look, that's what I love. Pioneering, getting it out. Like you said, before the movie, it's in the
Mhm.
book. Now, what is the future of these books? Like, or what's some of the feedback that you've gotten from the books? Because they've been out for a minute, not for about less than 5 years. But what are people saying about the books and how they're using them?
I have a friend, a high school friend, who is homeschooling her grandchildren off of my book. Um, I get shocked and awe. I didn't know this. I didn't know we had black cowboys. I didn't know we were that there were women in the Haitian Revolution. I get more of that. Like, I didn't know That's the phrase I get all the time. I didn't know. I didn't know. Well, I said, well, now you do. You know now.
So now you
Know
know.
now, and now you need to teach it, and now you need to tell the kids. That's my big hope that you'll pass it on to the next generation, so they'll know they will be sitting at school like we did, just not knowing anything.
Right. Like we don't have contributions
Yes, yes, absolutely.
to
We are.
the world,
We're
to the world. And
absolutely.
and what's so good about what you're saying that you can find in your books is that hello, before slavery, like what are you talking about? Like are you trying to mirror, are you trying to promote who we are post slavery? Like that's only 400 years, but our history extends for thousands prior, like BC, before Christ.
Absolutely.
What's up with that? So,
Absolutely.
so like what, we got hoodwinked in terms of starting in the wrong place
Hmm.
and not looking at the fact that as a people, we reign supreme from a very, very long history.
Yeah.
What do you see for, are you in the Chicago public school systems yet? Or is that something that you see
I
down?
would love that. I would love that. I would love that. I'm doing updates to both books. Um, the updates are the other stuff that I didn't get a chance to put in there before, and others, things that other people have found for me and telling me, if you do another book, put this one in there. So, including how it's in my first book, but how we have invented every genre of music, you know, like you said, that it was my whole point to when we were in school, all they taught you, and this is no disrespect to our ancestors, but they taught you Martin had a dream, Rosa sat down, and you were nothing but a slave. That was the whole, that's all we ever knew. And that's what that make you feel like is that we never had any history that predated slavery.
Right.
But look, we are history. If it was not for, you know, the African people on this planet moving from place to place to place, you know, a lot of people wouldn't be here. You pay
Mm,
homage. We're the ancestors, okay?
say it.
We are the alphas. We are the beginning. So I wanted to put that in the book too. So my updates that I'm doing in my books. I would love to find someone in the Chicago public school system that would give me maybe what I need to do to get my books in the system. I know my one of my books is in the DC school system. One of
Okay.
my but that's a good idea. Maybe that's something I'll look into just to see.
I got you. Basically, couple of things that will happen. One, we will renew. We need to, since the pandemic, we as the Soulful Chicago Book Fair will be renewing our relationship with CPS, which then all of you all that are family
Mhm.
in us will be able to take advantage of being in Chicago public schools. But what you also can do, as long as you have a vendor license and you're a vendor, you can, and we're going to talk about your publishing company in a minute. As long as you're a vendor,
Mhm.
then they can purchase your books, no questions asked. You just have to connect with a principal of whatever school in CPS, and they have to recommend you to something called Oracle. And then once they recommend you, then you go through the process. So we'll talk more about that
Okay.
thereafter. Yeah, we'll talk more about that because you clearly need to be in the schools. Now, you decided to create, and we'll come back to your other books in the second half, but you decided to create a publishing company.
Mhm.
And that is a big step because people ask me all the time, they be like, uh, are you got a publishing company? No, I ain't got no publishing company. I'm tired of not doing that. So talk a little bit about Inspired Publishing and what made you start that.
Okay, so I got that a lot too. I got a lot of people because it's funny you should say vendor because I do pop-ups too. I'm a vendor. I also sell bracelets and things like that. So when there is, you know, in the park, and I was just the Black History Month program at the Fox Valley Mall out here, and that was a question I had, and I was able to say yes. I know who you can talk to if you want to publish a book. You know, this was a milestone for me. Um, this came out of my publisher, She Publishing Company, and Allure Publishing Company. We are three sister publishing company, all three Black women. One's in North Carolina, one's in Indiana, and I'm here in Illinois. So this is history making for me to be in a circle of Black women publishers. Um, Inspired Publishing LLC is um I don't know. It is it's another like giving birth. It's like giving birth. I was so excited. Shanita of She Publishing published my Who Is She book. And coming off of that, when I dedicated that book to Black women, and she asked me, "Do you want to be a publisher? I give you everything you need." And at that time, I wasn't ready. I was like, I don't know yet, just being kind of, scary, being scary. And then I had so many people asking me, just like you said, when you have your books on the table, they walk up and it's like, I have a manuscript and I've been wanting to publish it, but I don't know who to call. I was like, me.
Me.
So
Nice.
yeah, so this is history making. Inspired Publishing LLC um, is going to be a history maker. I'm putting it out there. The universe heard it. So
That, so let me ask. So a person who has a manuscript, does it matter what genre? Does it matter what it is? They'll come to you and they'll get everything handled from what?
formatting, editing,
Formatting, printing.
marketing,
Wow.
hmm
That's
marketing,
important to know.
and you'll be part of a family. You'll be part of a family. I'm just not going to publish your book and say goodbye. You know,
Right.
no. I'm gonna help you market it. If you need a ghostwriter, I'm actually in the process of ghostwriting for a family member.
Okay.
Um, so I will handle whatever your need is. The only very important thing is you have to get started. You have to have a manuscript. You have an idea. You know, So most books, well, 99.9% of most books these days are an idea that you've probably been, knocking around, kicking around. Yeah, if whatever you need, we can handle it. And like I said, it's three of us. It's actually four or five, but actively, and all Black women, all Black owned, you know, publishing company. But we'll publish whatever your need is whenever you're ready.
Oh, that's so important because
Mhm.
people always ask me but I'm just doing the event portion of that. But I love to outsource these services to our people because we have our own companies that do these things. And so
Mhm.
that's excellent that you can do that. And like I have a new resource or to
Yeah.
send people to, like to send people to,
Mhm.
because it's a real, we have a bevy of authors
Yeah.
that you meet at the book fair that can be customers of yours. Simple, period, point blank. So
Yeah.
that's important. What I want to do right now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to you have a third powerful book that we are going to talk about that I think it is so important for us to focus on. It says more about your character and how dynamic you are. So you guys, without delay, let's just take a quick look at these messages and we'll be right back after them.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody: friends, neighbors, family members, co workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
All right, we're back, guys. Thank you for that little break. And man, I have some. I was looking at my questions like, oh, why didn't I answer yet? I didn't answer yet. I guess one of the things that I want to ask is, well, before we even know, how did you even get here, first of all? Because the book fair is what it is. It does what it does. We're in our 8th year. We support Black writers and all that. But how did you even come to this square? Y'all, it's not like we have a garden where authors grow, even though that's an idea. But yeah, how did you find out about the book fair?
I get such good supporters. I have people who are so excited for me. And when they find things that they know I'll like, they send it to me. So
Mm,
someone sent me on Facebook a link. I want to say it was my cousin Lucretia. I'm not sure. Um, or her daughter. They're always sending me things. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me I've been traveling to DC and Houston and all these places and I got a family right here?
right here,
Oh, I,
right here.
I think I sent you a message that day. That
I love it.
day. I was like right at my hometown. Oh, I was so excited. I'm so excited. Um, and then I have a coworker who, when I was telling her about it, she was like, you know what? I might go with you. I might go with you. So I decided I got so many good supporters
Oh
um,
man,
that's loving what I'm doing. And when they find something, they know for sure that's me because this is totally me. Like
yes,
my hometown, it's
yes,
with other authors. You're getting support you need. I was like, oh, yes, got to do this.
girl, roll
Got
out of
to do
bed,
it.
roll out of bed.
No,
Come on, sell those
no,
books. Now you said Lucretia. You talking about Lucretia Crump?
no, no.
Oh, I was about to say
Uh,
that's one of our authors. They're all
are you
family.
serious? See,
Yep, her
see.
name is Lucretia Crump.
Mm-mm.
Lucretia. Yep, no doubt about it. Well, I'm so happy that that happened because this really is a home for writers. Period. Like I'm an author, and so part of the evolution of this came about because it's like who takes care of us, who makes sure that
Mm,
what we need is something that is shown. Like that's very
right.
important. And so this your know your greatness and this whole push towards what you're doing with the book.
Hmm.
um I want to show y'all her website. Can they get your books on your website?
They can.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the website here, guys. I'm also going to scroll it at the bottom for you guys. But this is where you can find out more about the books and get them. ElogiaHadley.com. All right. So I want to make sure you see that. Let me put it at the bottom too, so that it can scroll while we're talking, and bam, get that
Yeah,
road.
they can message me there, send me a message if they have questions. There's a contact contact us part of. I'll answer. Um, if you want to have an idea for a book, contact me there as well.
Okay, great. Now, you know what I did want to ask you about? My girl, I got so much sunlight in my window. It's coming on through. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, who are your books written for? When you look at who is she and who are we, is it written for teenagers? Is it written for adults? You got to think about that when you look at the content and the I guess what you put in, how much of the content you put in. Is it a 500 book? But is it a particular audience that you're writing for?
Well, I'm directing it to I'm say the African American experience, the Black experience throughout the diaspora. Um, I would say if I had to put a grade to it, maybe junior high school and over. I don't think that unless it's being taught to someone younger, by an adult, there is in both books. There are warriors in there, and I do tell the stories of war. You know, so that would have to be explained to someone younger. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Okay.
other than that, it's no different than what we see on the news or the
Right.
TV or anything else. Like it just have to be explained to someone younger. My
Mhm.
hope is for the homeschool parents, and like you said earlier, the library pick it up. People who want to teach their kids and family members something other than the slavery part of our history.
That's
Teach us
right.
the greatness part. Teach the greatness part as well that predates that. That we were never taught. And at this point, I guess they don't know want it taught. So it's going to be
Mhm.
the parent, the adult, the people who are going to fight back for this, getting rid of the Department of Education, taking away things, taking away books. It's up to us to, and I mean, I already did the work. I already did the work. Okay, so
Right.
parents, you got to go and get the book.
Right.
Aunties, uncles, y'all got to go get that book.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, 1,000% is not the it's our responsibility at this point.
It is.
Period. Like, I don't want to hear about who feel what or saying what about us. Who cares?
That's
Because
right.
we take control.
It's up
Now,
to
I
us.
do want to bring up your third book,
Mhm.
and so important on the table today for so many reasons. And that book is Amazing is My Superpower.
Yeah.
Tell me about this book.
So this book is our journey. I have my son Talib is on autism spectrum. He was late diagnosed at 13, when normally children are diagnosed at 3 and 4. Um, this is me and my family's journey. Yep, that's my baby. I have 4 children altogether. He's my third. He's my baby boy. Um, the journey with me and my family, how we had to navigate through the school system with him, doctors, um, neighborhood bullies, school bullies. Oh my goodness. So, how I changed his diet. I mean, it's a lot in this book. I put everything that I learned and I found out um, in this book because we have parents. I found that we have parents don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They blame themselves. They feel like they did something wrong. No. My thing is, whatever the situation is, what we're gonna do right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we gonna do right now? And it's been a journey. This book is from when he was born up until 18 when he graduated. It's been updated now because he's 22. Okay. Um, and I found more things, but this is a personal journey me and my family went through that I put in a book. as per request a few teachers, because I ended up changing his diet and changing some things that were amazing,
Mm.
that that amazed them. How did you do this? You know, so that book has been updated to kind of guide parents and teachers. This is the book that is in one of the libraries in DC. The librarian there took it upon herself to make sure that that book was in their school. So, because she said it was amazing too, and I still cry a little bit when I even kind of look through it, because I mean we come a long way. We're still working towards getting him in certain adult programs, which is we're in Illinois and it's hard. So that's going to be an update to this book.
Now, autism in today's world is
Hmm.
next level because it's coming from a lot of different angles. It's
Yeah.
coming from medication, just coming from foods. I want to hear a little bit more about what you said about changing his diet. Changing his diet from what to what?
Okay. So when he was diagnosed late, that kind of hit us because he stays in like a denial state all the time. And like I said, when you are going through something, you want to blame yourself, but my thing was, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do? So once I'm a researcher, what do? Researchers, we start researching, we start looking up things, we start finding stuff. So I found Dr. Sabi, I found nutritionists. I I mean dug through the hospital directory trying to find a doctor that would at least do all of the testing and blood tests to check to see if he's allergic to anything, what allergies. And we did the blood test. We didn't do the little prick test. We did the real live blood test to see what he was allergic to. Um, he's allergic to chicken, sesame, coconut, and he's allergic to whatever they clean the chicken with. Okay. I found out that most children on the spectrum and adults have stomach issues. So I added fiber to everything, magnesium. I mean, when I said we did smoothies, we did fresh juice, you know, on a regular basis. Um, that cleared up all these stomach issues.
Mm,
I detoxed him.
wow.
We detoxed. Cilantro is a good binder. That's a good binder. Um,
Yeah.
I did it to the point where he has so many issues in school. They transfer him to one of those alternative schools.
Okay.
And by the time I was done and his head was so clear, they had to transfer him back to his huge community school.
Wow. Look
And
at that.
they was like, we don't even know. We've never seen anybody go from an alternative school back to the community high school.
Right.
But he was outpacing the kids to the point where there was nothing else there for him to do, and his behaviors had changed.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. Look at that. See y'all playing. See, I know I'm actually I'll have a new book for the book fair called I Had to Choose to Feel Better, but it's heavily based on diet and
Hmm.
nutrition and how repairing my health was straight up diet
Hmm.
and food. And so when you talk about behavioral changes, what do you mean by that? Like from what to what? You said he was brighter, he started to outpace them. How
Hmm.
did he emotionally uh, express himself to you with the change? Did you see a change in that?
Yes. So when he was at his community school, you can actually look at him and tell that there was just too much stuff going on in his head. This high school is huge, and they have these sensory issues. And when he came into the high school, it was too much for him. He was getting up, walking out of class. He wasn't listening. It was like this over excitement. He just was not cooperating. He ended up with two teacher aides. You know, it was a lot, and then he was at the same time facing some old bullies. So then he was trying to get with the bullies. Oh my goodness, they were like, we need to, you know, put him in a smaller class, a smaller school, and that's what they did. Um, the school he was at out here in Naperville, Illinois, is huge. I mean, it's a community school. It was just too overwhelming for him. They moved him to a smaller school, like 45 minutes away from where we live. I didn't like that, but it was the only choices they gave us, really. And once he got there, I had already started doing my work while he was at the school. And this is a key thing. They called us up to the school and they said that he is acting out, he's walking out of class, he's not listening, he's they saying all of this. They called a meeting. We walk into the meeting, we sit down, he walks in behind us with a coffee in one hand and a blue Mountain Dew in the other. I looked at the teacher and the principal. I said, "Do you see what I'm looking at? Do you see what I'm looking at?" I said, "This meeting is over. This meeting is over. How do he have access to coffee and a Mountain Dew? Are you serious?"
Right. Right.
I was like, "This meeting is over. I'm doing all this hard work to change his diet, and you like this is
You
crazy."
got the poisons lined
Yeah,
up
it's the
early in the
poison. All
morning.
you gotta do is go into a machine. They're actually giving the kids the coffee. I'm like,
Wow.
wait a minute. So we figured that out. And once I started that, he got to the alternative school and I could actually see his skin start to clear up. His eyes
Mm,
started to get a little brighter. I would hear him just moments just calm and quiet. And I could actually see it with my own eyes that a miracle was happening.
wow.
know, a miracle was happening. So um, when I got back to he got back to the community school, the teachers were amazed. They were like, "How did you do this? What? We've never seen this before." They said it so much. I said, "You know what? I'm gonna put it in a book. I'm gonna put it in a book for you." That's what I did.
I love that. It's it's such a subject that so many parents
Mm.
need assistance with. I find that today you just find so many people saying that they have children that are on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Who is your book for practitioners dealing with brothers and sisters that have autism? Is it for parents? Is it for like, will it help them understand like what they're witnessing? Will it help them understand what to do or all of the above?
All of the above. In my
Okay.
book, I show it's sectioned off to things that happen. I
Hmm.
purposely did that starting from when he was born because when you have a child on the spectrum, you feel like you saw something but you wasn't quite sure. You heard something but you wasn't quite sure. So I started at birth that I would hear like him make certain type of noises. I would see him spinning in the floor. It was just so many little hints that were there. He was just extra active. And I sectioned that book so that anyone with a loved one on the spectrum, it will give them some guidance. It will give them some guidance from the diet, who to have around them. They're like sponges. You have to be careful what environment you put them in, to what snack bags, what to have with you in the car. You know what I mean? Like I tried to find every little detail that I found was helpful for me, even with the bullying part, even with the part that some parents don't know, that you do not need the permission of the schools to call an IEP meeting. You need to tell them, look, I need an IEP meeting, let's schedule it. And certain things that are not written in stone. They like to sit the parents at a table and surround them, 9 people at the table, to talk about your child. And I was just lucky I had support, and I had people to say, don't go to IEP meetings by yourself. If a doctor asks you to leave the room, you do not have to leave your autistic child in a room with a stranger. I got little tidbits in there that I've learned to pass on to anyone who needs to understand and feel like they're supported or have. It's a manual. It's a manual, and my
Mm,
book too is even a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger because he's 22, but yeah, it's for anyone who needs that kind of support.
that's important for you to say that it's a manual
Mhm.
because, guys, we're out here, and I think you are in my nonfiction section of the
Mhm.
book fair. But that's important because many reasons why people go to books is so they can find out what to do. They see the similarity, but then they need guidance.
Mhm.
I've seen people with books on Alzheimer's and all kind of, and they're just telling their story, but we don't understand it helps people to make decisions
Yeah, absolutely.
about their situation,
Mhm.
because there is no manual. Like even raising kids, people be talking about there's no manual and every child is different, right? So there is it is important for us to write in that style in a way that helps to guide people to do better, or like you said, that's so important what you said about you know don't go in the meeting by yourself. And why do you feel like that was said? Why did you feel it was important to say that?
When you are a parent and when they call these IEP meetings and these meetings, it's not just you and a one teacher. It's you and 9 to 12 other people
Okay.
sitting at the table with you. And I know I have family members who are educators and I love educators and I hope they don't get offended. But I in some of these schools, it feels like you're being bullied. They can
Mm,
make you feel like you're a bad parent. They can make you feel like you don't know what you're doing and some of this is your fault. And depending on what kind of team you have, because I walked in the room and I said, "This is Team Talib. This is Team Talib. And whoever don't want to be Team Talib, you need to be replaced. We
say
need to
it.
start replacing people now because this is what's going to happen. You're going to give him this, and this. But if you are not, everybody is not as strong as I am. You know, everybody don't know that what's going to happen. So I'm trying to head you off at the path and tell you you're not going to be the only one in that room. It's going to
Right.
be six, seven, eight, sometimes 12 people in the room telling you basically like this about your child, you know,
Wow.
making you feel, little. So no, don't ever go by yourself to an IEP meeting. Like never. If you got to get your neighbor, your sister, cousin, I took my niece. I took my niece one day. You know,
Right. Right.
I told her what to do. I said, now you hold a piece of paper and you sit here and you check off whatever you want to know.
Right. Right.
It was
What can you tell them what IEP stands for, just in case they don't know?
individual education plan. Yeah, it's
Okay.
a plan that they put together for your kid. I might have, yeah. It, and then they tell you basically, we're going to have him read 40 minutes. We're going to put him in speech therapy for 20 minutes. We're going
Mhm.
to, and that's another thing, good to know policies, whatever the policies is. And if they tell you 20 minutes, but your child is not even really talking, they're nonverbal, you're like, wait, what is 20 minutes going to do? I can do that at home. I can
Right.
do 20 minutes in the car.
Right.
No, we're going to do better than that. We're
Right.
going to do better than that. So that's what that autism book is. It is to me, it should be on every parent's because I did like I said, Asada, I'm the researcher. I'm the
A
researcher.
researcher.
Look, I'm telling you, I found a young lady at MIT who already said the prediction by 2050, one out of three children might be on the autism spectrum, have some sort of learning disability. As she said, it's too many toxins. I mean, when I found this lady, that's how I knew what the next step should be. I knew it automatically what the next step should be. And then my family, we jumped in with both feet, you know, yeah, so I'm updating this book. He's 22 now. Um, there's some more stuff that I found out, you know, and it's per state. Here at the state of Illinois, they start to age out at 22, which means they don't have any programs after 22. He doesn't qualify for anything after 22 here in Illinois. So basically, when your child turns 22, basically they act like you know, they're cured of the autism or they're cured
Right.
of whatever um, disability that they may have or whatever. But
Mm,
that's not the case. And then
right.
they want you to pay for the ones Somebody quoted me $1,100 for him to be in a day program, four days a month.
1,100 a day.
$1,100 a month for 4 days out
Even
the
so,
month.
that's beyond mortgage rent. Like, stop playing. Like, what are you talking about? What? Yeah, no way. Yeah, no way. I am so happy that you are taking a position of advocacy
Mhm.
because, like you said, you're strong. But, baby, I've been in those meetings with a parent, particularly because my book, Beating Black Kids, deals with working with our children with some civility and them and their lack of civility when it comes to dealing with children and them needing guidance themselves.
Mhm.
Yo, it wasn't like she was a foster parent to the kids, but the big thing was the intimidation
Oh, yeah.
of the institution
Mhm.
to her.
Yep.
And they ask you questions, they ask the parent questions that the parent knows they know the answers to, but they so nervous
Right.
that they're going to say the wrong thing or they don't. And so I was able to come in with what? With the fire, not
Mhm.
angry, but with, I don't have any fear. I'm supporting her. So to come and for the parent to feel supported, I'm so glad you put that in your book because, like I said, they just need that. They need that. I'm glad you even echoed that you have support in your process. We only have about 2 minutes more, but I have a question. What is the ultimate dream for that you have of your books? What type of impact you want them to make? And give me some words of wisdom too. In 2
So
minutes.
my thing is know your greatness, and greatness comes on all levels. Know your greatness. That's it. That's all. Know your greatness. Know who you are. When you know who you are, you love yourself, and that self love comes through you. It comes out to other people. So know your greatness.
Mm. Know your greatness, period. And I'm going to put her website again at the bottom, you guys. It's her name, ElogeaHadley.com. If you're listening, that's ELOG as in gosh, EIAHADLEY, ElogeaHadley.com. And man, I look forward to giving you more business. You can not only get her books at that website, guys, but you also can go to what? Inspire Publishing if you need your self published, if you need your book edited, formatted, get your ISBN number, all of those great things. This is a one-stop shop. She even does ghostwriting, and I think that's so awesome. So I just want to say, sis, thank you so much for being here today. You have definitely set the tone high, set the bar high, and I look forward to people finding you at the book fair big time. August 9th, be ready to experience her. Love you so much. And you guys,
Thank you so much.
you got it. Let's make it a dynamic day. See you guys next Tuesday. We out. Peace. Tell your son bye too.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Thank you. Bye bye.
You got it. Mm-hmm.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.